I'm Lizzy.
And I'm Izzy, and we need help.
Each week we stumble through a new book, method, or concept that brings us one step closer to being our best self.
Yes, we make fun of ourselves.
And others.
But mostly just ourselves. So here's to not taking self-help quite so seriously.
Welcome to We Need Help. I'm Lizzy.
And I'm Izzy. And today our topic, I think, is adult bullying, is it not?
It's bullying in general.
Okay, bullying in general.
So, but because we're adults, it's going to be more about the adult side.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's about bullying. I read Girls Against Girls by Bonnie Burton. I keep thinking it's girls on girls.
You're like, yeah.
Scissor, 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 scissor.
And then you're like, oh, okay.
That's the total opposite of what this book's about. It's about girls against like hurting other girls.
Okay.
And I wanted to do this topic because I keep running into it so I have 5 younger sisters, 10 nieces, a daughter, a great niece, and I find it absolutely intriguing how awful girls are to each other.
Yeah, like what made you choose this topic? Like, was it something specific, like in your life that happened, or what? I mean,
I'm constantly like seeing dynamics that are weird, like towards me with adult women. But I recently was at one of Scarlett's sporting events, and a girl is just not like, she's purposely not speaking to me. Like, I mean, I can read body language. I know body language very well. And I just thought, oh my God. I mean, I didn't take it personally because I don't expect everyone to like me. Like a lot of people, in fact, I know they're not because I use the word cunt, and I have very, very strong opinions about religion, and
people have allergies to that word, but
yeah, well, and a lot of people don't like me. I know it's shocking. I know, but it is what it is. I'm at peace with that because I do know that I don't pander to everyone. I don't do it anymore. I used to do it. They would have loved me in my 20s, but I just don't do it now.
In the 20s, in the 1920s.
In the 20s, my give a shit era. But, so anyway, I was like, we should do this because I think a lot of us, if it's not on like with other moms, it's in the workplace, it's even out, like if you're, out and about, like at bars or clubs or whatever it is. I think that we need to talk about it more and, like talk about the why behind it. And I did, after doing so much research, and reading this book and everything, come up with a few theories of my own with why we're doing what we're doing.
Okay, so what did the book say? And then what do you think?
The book basically said that, I mean, the theories were that we're biologically set up to be in competition with each other. We're socially set up to be in competition with each other. And the Girls Against Girls were about child bullying up into high school.
Okay.
So it's the same exact thing.
How are we biologically set up to compete against each other? Like, how is that? Why? Like, what's the...
because like you want to procreate with the best male.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah. You want to land the big fish.
Yeah. The head bull. You don't want the...
You don't want the scrawny little...
Yeah, you want the alpha. Yeah, not
the big guns. You don't want the little puny guy. Nothing against puny guys. Do you remember when we offended every small dicked penis, or all small dick people in the world? Do you remember that?
Yeah, they were like sending us messages, which is like, guys with big dicks don't have time for that.
No, but that's who you want to procreate with. You don't want to do a itty bitty teeny weeny short dick man. So that's why maybe we do that, but it really starts way earlier than that.
Okay.
So in this book, she talked about that. It was a, why, there's all different spaces for why we do these things.
Did you get bullied by girls when you were in grade school, high school? Like, what was your experience?
Yes. Yes, I did. I was different. I was so skinny. And I was poor, so I didn't have nice clothes. Um, I had a weird last name, so that didn't help. Everything that's about you that's different. But I know a little girl that's being bullied because she has too many nice clothes.
Mm.
Isn't that weird? I was like, that's a doozy. Like, I would have loved to be in
Like
that.
you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. Like
You're
you can't do anything
so
right.
damned. You're so
See,
damned.
I was never bullied by other girls, but I was bullied by boys, like loads of boys, but never girls. I wonder why
Scarlett
that is.
let me tell you, this weekend, or Scarlett got she's run into this with this certain little guy many times where he physically like hits her, or she got shot in point blank with a Nerf gun this time. And then he tells his mom it's an accident. Well, I mean, it just every time we're over at my friend's house, it is a conversation on the way home. Like, he kicked me, he hit me, he this.
Is
And
it your friend's son?
no, it is not. No, they're like totally opposite. Totally. My friend Lena's little boy Maximo, like they are very much taught to respect girls.
Okay.
Like huge. But this little guy, I mean, I'm not saying that he's not. I'm just saying it keeps happening with Scarlett. And he said to his mom, "No, I didn't. I was an accident. I didn't mean to shoot her in the face. I mean, it welted up her face."
Like I could see him saying that in court.
Yeah, I'm like, well, it was just a few feet. And she said, "Mom," he said his mom to his mom, that it was an accident, but I know it wasn't. He meant to do it.
Yeah.
And I said, "Well, it accidentally punch him in the mouth."
Yeah.
And so unfortunately, I meant next time, if he ever does that to you again. Well, she just went over and kicked him.
Like out of nowhere.
Like, just kicked him and
Like-
said, "My mom said to do it."
Sorry, I don't mean
And
but
it was awful, but I was just like, I said, "Honey, I didn't mean it like that."
I didn't mean like
Well,
now, but yeah.
right. But then I got to thinking about it. I'm like, you know what? Like maybe he should realize that while she's going to act like a lady and but she's going to defend herself. She'll never be the first one to hurt somebody, but she will defend herself.
Yeah.
So I got to thinking about it, and she said, "Should I apologize?" I said, "Are you sorry?" And she said, "No." And I said, "Well, I think maybe after many, many times of this kid coming into her physical space, maybe it's okay. Just let it go. Like, if you then don't apologize, and I think you did the right thing. I don't want him hurting her every time we're there."
Yeah.
So, and she does have, and she always has had the rule, you better not ever be the first one to physically hurt somebody,
Yeah.
but you are allowed to defend yourself.
Yeah.
So I don't
He's a
know.
bully.
I don't know what he is, and it's none of my business.
Yeah.
But I know that my child shouldn't be expected to take that.
Yeah.
So she's just not, like, she's allowed to stick up. This happened once before with a friend's kid. She kept hitting her, and then Scarlett hit her back. And the mom said, "Oh, we had an incident." And I said, "Oh, what's that?" "Well, they both hit each other with a crop." I said, "Scarlett, you hit what's her name with a crop?" And she said, "Well, Mom, she's been hitting me for weeks with it." And I finally hit her back. And I said to the mom, I said, "You know what? She is absolutely empowered to stick up for herself, and she's not in trouble for that. I'm sorry.
Good.
I just won't, like,
Yeah.
you can only take it so long."
Yeah. Yeah.
But when it comes to girl on girl attacks, I think it's different. I don't know why.
I think
What are
it's
your
because it's girls are sneakier and they're more conniving and they're almost like smarter. Like a guy will be like, dude, or say,
They
like,
just
"You're
punch.
stupid." But a girl can like the experience that I have had is not bullying, but like just conniving behavior.
It's Hannibal Lecter shit, right?
Animal Lecter shit. Like guys will be like, they'll pull your hair or they'll punch you or they'll,
Well, this one mom literally, she talks to everybody else, but she doesn't talk to me. And I have 5 younger sisters.
Yeah.
I went a year without speaking to one of my siblings in the same house. I'm okay,
Yeah.
but like, that's not cool. If you know what I mean, that's weird.
That's
Like
showing you something. Yeah. And
uh,
they're I think women can just be a little more conniving. That's it. Like
they,
more, yeah.
yeah, they're in competition. And it got me thinking that women or females or whatever, we haven't been out of survival mode long enough.
Mm,
If you think about it, because we're pitted against each other all the time.
yeah.
And, oh, she's skinnier than me. Oh, she's more voluptuous than me. Oh, she's, got this, that, better manners. She's got this, she's got that. And it's like, okay, well, don't we collectively raise each other up if we're all doing different great things?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that one mom that just actively does not talk to me. And you know what? It might not even be on purpose, but it's like just so many years of like people being like that. It's either she doesn't want to talk to me actively or she's like subconsciously doesn't want to talk to me.
Yeah.
But either way, what if I was somebody who really felt left out, who couldn't see that it wasn't me?
Yeah.
What if that hurt me? I think we should. And so 2 things: women are constantly trying to make people more comfortable, but they're actively trying to make people uncomfortable.
Do you think she's actively doing that though? Like,
I don't know. And
and
from the benefit of the doubt, I think she just may not be able to express herself in a way that she knows, like, you know what I mean? So
yeah.
maybe it's not about me at all.
Yeah, and well, or it is like my mentor once told me maybe she just doesn't like you. And I was like,
Well, yeah. And that's
and that's
also, that's
okay.
where,
Like she doesn't have to talk to you if she doesn't like you. Like, why should she, So that's
yeah. And I'm fine with that. Like, that's where I ended on it, and like Scarlett's like, why is this? And I said, oh, maybe she just doesn't like me. I really am okay with it. But like, for me to not go back and be like, well, I fucking hate her then.
right.
And now I'm going to be nastier to her because she's nasty to me. And now the vicious ball is rolling.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
And that is where things can get, as an adult, that's where the adult comes in. Like, it's time to adult. Okay, maybe she doesn't like me, or maybe she doesn't know how to express herself, or maybe she feels like shit about who she is, or maybe I bring out something about her that she feels less about. Okay, let's just any of that. But for me not to take that personally, I think is a huge deal, because I do know people who would be like, okay, why is she being a bitch?
Did I ever tell you the story of the girl that was a total bitch to me? I don't know if I told you the
What
story.
I'm
I was going to this support group for a while, and there was a girl there who I would say hi to her, and she would just flat out ignore me. Like, she would just, or roll her eyes, and like, she was just really nasty. And I was like, in my head, I had this whole story of like, she's so mean. Like, I'm so nice to her, and she's so mean. And then she would talk to like 1 or 2 other people in the support group. But whenever I was like, hey, and she was, hey, Lisa, and she would just and she always looked mad. And I was like, man, I just, something, my God, I'm like, I just don't
can't
like
fucking
it.
stand that Lisa.
Yeah. And then years later, when it was COVID, all the support groups went online, and I logged on to one, and they're like, she's going to speak tonight. Like, it was this girl. And I was like, oh, I wanted to like log off. I was
Yuck.
like, I don't want to even listen to this bitch.
Yeah.
She starts sharing her story that during the times that she was in the support group, she had given birth to a baby girl who had died like an hour later because
Oh,
this girl this girl Lisa had an eating disorder for a long time, and her body was just so malnourished and weak that she couldn't, like, the baby was like malnourished and didn't form correctly.
didn't thrive.
Yeah, and she said she felt like she was just gonna wanted to kill herself every day. And she said all she could muster the strength to come to the support group and talk to like the two people she knew there, but she could not muster the strength to talk to anyone else. And
Yes.
said like people were trying to be friendly and she couldn't do it because she had so much self-hatred. And
Oh,
I could not stop crying during this thing because I was judging her so bad and she was going through
uh-huh.
such a horrible time, you know, and that just made me think like, I don't know anything, you know, I don't know people's stuff, you know,
So
like,
I think two stories and come to my mind. So I used to train and develop customer service people and sales and managers. I used to train them to give nasty people a backstory that is hideous.
I love
It's
that.
a game changer.
Like painful. Yeah.
That's hideous. Like, okay, oh my God, she was a bitch to me. She has her husband, like there was this person
Yeah.
that was a bitch to us on our golf cart the other day. I said, well, her dying husband is in her living room in one of those hospice beds. And it's like she wanted to come out and yell at us because it was the only thing she could control.
Yeah.
And Scarlett goes, how do you know that? I said, I don't, but that's the story I'm going to give her grace.
Yeah.
And Scarlett's like, just glommed right on and went with it,
Yeah.
you know? And then, secondly, did I ever tell you about that time I went into Starbucks and that lady, I was having the day of my life. I was like feeling so good about myself. My outfit was intact, like everything, my makeup was dialed in, and I walk in and I'm like, woo! And I get in line and some bitch looks at me and looks down and up and like just gives me the most nasty look.
Yeah.
And I was like, I was feeling so good. She couldn't bring me down. She could not bring me down. And
Yeah.
I looked out at her and I found the most honest compliment I could find on her. I said, excuse me, I have to tell you, your glasses look so good on your face. And she just started crying. She goes, you have no idea how badly I needed a compliment today. And it still gives me the chills because it
Yeah.
changed my whole dynamic in life.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. Those are those little like flipping points, you know, those little turning points in your life. Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy, but I do see moms and really, really be nasty to each other for some reason. I don't really understand it.
I wonder if
It's
it's this
horrible.
fear that they're not good enough, so they have to make other moms feel worse so they feel better. I don't know. It's like, I wonder what that is because I don't have kids, obviously, but my friends with kids mention the same thing. She's like, the moms are the worst. And I wonder why that is.
I don't know, like, if we just like totally ladies of the canyon it and like band together and, we as a team, the whole thing, it would be so much better. But I just see so much nasty and cattiness and, who's better and who's like this. And it really, I mean, that is all bullshit that we don't need.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's like, it's heartbreaking is what it is. And I think that, from the time, here's how I think a bully is made. One, okay, it might be in a little bit like from the animals that we came from, but I think it's as simple as this. You're in the car line, you get your kid in the back seat, and you look over and you go, ugh, she shouldn't be wearing that.
Mm.
And that's what your daughter just heard you say. And now that gives her the rein to judge every other girl that she ever meets because you are a judgmental person.
Yeah.
And I think bullies come from bullies. I think bitches come from bitches. I think assholes come from assholes, cunts. It's just that simple.
Yeah.
And the worst part about it is if a child is bullying, it's a very good chance they are either being neglected or bullied at home.
So what can be done about this? Like, is there any solutions presented in the book, or do you have any ideas on what could be done? I mean, I guess it all starts with us. Like that girl that did that and then you gave her a compliment, like fighting it with love. But what else can be done, do you think?
Well, I think there's a couple of things. I think as leading by example for our children,
Yeah.
being the change you want to be. I mean, every bumper sticker and you can imagine,
All
you
of them.
know, all of the bumper stickers, be it, but I also think like actually actively trying to go against it and stopping it when it happens in front of you. Because how many times have you been like, "Ooh, hey, I got a little tea on, a tea on this person." And you're like, "Oh my God, I want to know. I
Yeah.
want to know the tea." And then you could be like, "You know what? Save it. I'm not in the mood for tea," or whatever. Just make tea and, the gossip, the
Yeah.
fucking gossip and gossip and gossip for everybody. I mean,
You know why people gossip?
I don't know why people
It's
gossip
because
except for to feel better about themselves.
it's the shortest distance to intimacy between with two people. If you and I are gossiping against her, then we have intimacy. So
Okay.
it's a shortcut to intimacy. When I
Okay.
realized
And it
that, like,
has
why do
no
we gossip? Like, oh, it's a hook, it's intimacy. You're creating an automatic closeness with the person you're gossiping with.
joined hate too, like joined
Yeah,
enemies.
yeah, yeah. So it's once you realize that, you're like, I don't want to take a shortcut to intimacy. Like, I'm gonna make it a challenge, you know. It's easy to gossip. Gossip it brings people together.
I
But
think gossiping
it's
is
a cheap
pretty
way.
bad.
Yeah.
It's a pretty bad thing to do in front of our children or do it all. And just being that person that says, let's talk about my garden that I'm going to do instead of let's talk about this bitch and her, freaking bowling pin body. And
Yeah.
that's another thing. If you're good at talking about people, it's really fun.
Yeah.
Like I can honestly say I have done my share of shitting all over the female population.
Yeah. Same.
I'm not proud of it. you know, I I've definitely done it. But now that I have Scarlett, it's like, okay, like who am I putting out into the world?
But I think you're pretty, like, my favorite story about you, and I use this example when I train people. So I love this. I love what you said. It was when somebody wanted to engage with you and gossip about a girl who was actually, she was a total bitch. And you said, you know what I love about, let's just say her name is Mary. Mary, she's a 100% herself.
Love,
Like
yeah.
you don't engage. And I love that compliment rather than
Find something you love about
and
Mary.
saying it. And I mentioned that a lot in my, because people are like, well, how do I, people talk about workplace gossip a lot and, in the coffee room, like, what do I say? Like everyone's talking about this girl and I don't want to seem like, guys, let's not gossip. I said, and then I use your example. You know what I love about Mary? She
Yeah.
is just her totally herself, and that's an amazing, amazing way
It's
to,
funny. And you can also take away really nasty things. Like I was sitting down, I had just pulled up to you know, our bar. It was like our local place that we went all the time. And somebody said, "Ew, don't talk to her. She's a slut." And I said, "Oh my God, I love sluts." Like
yeah,
just totally say you love sluts, say you love bitches, say
yeah,
you love,
yeah,
oh my God, like she's so stuck up. I love snobs. Like just
yeah,
totally
yeah.
take it away because when you do that, it actually waters it down and it makes it less dramatic. And it just, it also says to the person, I don't want to be a part of that part of your story with this person. Like, I just want to have my own story with this person.
I love that.
Yeah, I think that's really, 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 that's such a good point. That's such a good point. It's like, oh, I think also really one of the most powerful things we can do is be like extraordinarily positive about ourselves. And that's really hard to do.
Oh, it is so hard. Like I was beating myself up this week because I like had a presentation and the tech went all awry, so it didn't go well. And granted, I have presentations every week and they go phenomenally, and it went bad this one time. I've been beating myself up the entire week that I've made myself physically ill. I have a cold sore, because I was like stressing about it. I'm like, I'm so terrible. I'm so, rather than just be like, it's vulnerable to put yourself out there and try new things, but yeah, that's that negative self-talk,
Oh my God. And just like admitting that we all shit the bed and, like if you, well, and and kind of bookmarking those, if you would have just, every time you had a presentation that went phenomenal, if you would have put a little tick mark in your journal, and then the ones that you shit the bed and then put your tick mark there, you could have a visual of how wonderful your career and training is.
Yeah.
Like, and just giving yourself the positive. We don't like to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. And or even making this positive, like you were vulnerable and brave enough to try something new. And okay, it didn't work. That's okay. You were like, at least you tried, because I tried something totally new, like this new whatever tech thing, and like this is gonna be awesome. And I tried it out a couple times. And then when I went to present, it like just went and I'm
The narrator steps in. It was not, in fact, awesome. Oh man.
Right. And so, yeah, that positive self-talk is super important.
I think it's so important, and like just giving yourself compliments all the time. And another really, really, really important thing, and I have done this, like really done it in the last 2 years, but I've always tried to do it, is surround yourself by people who are cheering you on constantly and don't want to put you down and don't want to hate you. They don't want to look at you as competition. They're literally on your team. Like if you surround yourself with people who would be like, okay, if you would have called me about you shitting that bed, I would have been like, okay, Izza, like you're incredible. And give you 10 examples of how that would go.
Yeah.
It would make you feel so much better.
Right. Yeah. There was a study that came out recently, and it's going around TikTok and YouTube that I think it's Simon Sinek, I think is talking about it, that when you're down, you only need 8 minutes of interaction with like a close friend who's cheering you up and cheering you on to feel like to restore yourself. And that's,
I think I sent it to you. I
think you did.
Yeah, the code is I need 8 minutes.
Yeah.
Do you have 8 minutes for me?
Yeah.
And if you can call a true friend and say, hey, or text, do you have 8 minutes? That's a code for I need to be picked up off the floor. And just please don't. And that's another thing I think that like we need to be really, really mindful about not doing is when someone is down, kicking them.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's the
like
worst.
We have to stop doing that as women.
It's the worst.
And especially with our men and women, but like all together, we have to stop doing it because I see it all the time. It's bad. But yeah,
so it's like, because you live in Naples, and that seems like it would be very competitive in terms of women trying to look better than one another. Like every time I see, and like the whole looks thing, like I live in Poland, so it's not that big of a deal. Like,
fuck.
But no, but I'm thinking like in a place like that, is it a little more difficult? Do you notice that? Like,
yeah, it's very, very surface.
Yeah.
It can be. I shouldn't say it is. I've managed to find these people who can go deep.
Yeah.
It's very, very like everyone is trying to keep up with the Joneses. I've never even met these Joneses, I gotta say.
These Joneses, and what a lame last name. Like,
hey, listen, Jonesy.
Jonesy.
But like Jonesy. But yeah, I just think that, I can peg people like that really quickly. Hey, let's just say this is a red flag for me. If I do something wonderful and I'm really proud of it and excited, I bring like cupcakes to something.
Yeah.
And I can inevitably find all of these people who are in competition with me by by they coming up to me and being like, I can't do anything like this. This is, I like this, if I did that, it would be like a shit show. This has not, like, I'm like, you're comparing my cupcakes to your cupcakes. Why don't you just say, I love your cupcakes?
Yeah.
It's a real, like, that's a really good way to see or to know that if you're saying something like that, you're actually accidentally comparing yourself to the person.
Yeah. That's interesting.
If I go in to see, if I see my friend, let's just say I see my friend Erica, and I walk in and she looks beautiful, and I say, I look like dog shit.
Yeah.
I am in I'm now I'm making her
Yeah.
beautiful look all about me. And that means I'm
and she has to
comparing.
like somehow feel bad about it looking so good. That makes zero
Now I'm
sense.
just wiping my ass on her. It's like, okay, that's a real good indication. If you do that, you might accidentally be competing with your friend.
Yeah. I don't do that. I don't think so.
I don't either. Well, I try not to wipe my ass on any of my friends or my insecurities. It doesn't mean I don't have them, but like I went, I'll take Lena. She doesn't mind me mentioning her on the podcast. So I'll take her as another example, but I walk into her house and it's absolutely beautiful. She has a great sense of style. She has a great eye. And instead of me wiping my ass all over her, I try to be more like her.
Yeah.
Or I've asked her to help. Yeah, I'm inspired by her. Or like I ask for her help in making me a level up in it. Like, and she, of course, loves to do that stuff because she's a lifter. But it's like the minute you go into someone's house and you connect their home to your home, it's off.
Yeah.
And that's I think that might be like just retraining ourselves because we're trained to be in competition by, the entire culture is like that here.
Yeah.
So if we can retrain ourselves to not make other people's successes, compared or make contrast ours.
Yeah. A threat to us. Yeah.
Yes. I think that's really, really important. And also with family images, it's like, okay, what is a perfect family image to you?
Yeah.
And is based off your choices in your life is not my family image, and it should never be compared.
Yeah.
So
good stuff.
It's a really good subject. And I think we should constantly have it in the back of our mind that we're not even paid the same as men yet. So we need to band up and link arms together as women and mothers and doing this like as a team. And I think that if we could possibly get to know ourselves and each other as a teammate,
yeah,
I think we could start to take what's rightfully ours, which is, in my opinion, the head of the table.
Yeah.
Because, we make humans and we make things happen. Women are the heart of everything in every way. We've talked about it before, but would Maciek have done anything that you guys have done? Like, if you wouldn't have come up with the ideas?
Probably not.
Jason always says he'd still be in Chicago.
All dudes would be on their mattresses on a floor playing Game Boy. That's where they all would be.
So
would be.
Yeah. And thank God that, we're here, but I just think we're fighting against each other pretty badly.
Yeah.
And raise pro women girls and raising pro women boys is also another, and I think that, we really have to be And one more thing before I even forget. Do not, under any fucking circumstances, compete with your daughter.
Yeah.
That is the kiss
Of
of death.
That's insane.
Yeah. So I think that that is a really big one, and it happens way more than we give it credit for.
Yeah. Oh, good episode. Good stuff.
It's a really tough subject, I know, but
I think we tackled it in a really positive way today. Like I'm so inspired to just like keep lifting women up, like every woman I see. So I'm happy about that. That's what I'm
well,
taking from this whole thing.
and I love that you are, because I think that if I had, just one thing, if I to put on my headstone would be, she made things better than they were before she got to them. You know what I mean? Just make
Yeah.
everybody better.
Yeah.
Make everything better. Just try to make things better.
Yeah.
So,
Amen.
amen. Well, I love you
I
so
love you
much.
too. This was so good. Thank you. Thank you for
Do
choosing.
you have a subject that you want to do next month or next week?
Did Hearts just come out when I did this?
Yes. Yes, it does. I don't know
Oh
why
my
mine's not.
goodness.
My heart's not working.
Wait.
Let me jack it off here. Boy.
I do have a topic, and the topic is there's I don't know if this is real or not, so I have to research it. And it has nothing to do with like positivity or whatever, but have you heard of this like thing where you have to put the your tongue on the roof of your mouth and it changes the shape of your face? It's called like messing or something like that.
Mm-mm.
It's a trend that's going around, and apparently it changes your jawline and the shape of your mouth. And it's like this mouth exercise that these two orthodontists invented. And I got sucked into the spiral because there's like a new documentary coming out called Open Wide, and it's about these two guys. Yeah. So that's what I'm doing, this topic. It's called Messing. I think that's the name. I'll send you the link so you can like look at it, but that's what I want to do because I'm like,
Okay.
interesting. And it's talking about how the shape of our face, because the foods that we're eating have gotten so much softer. So our face muscles have gotten just softer and our faces are like kind of drooping. And then it's also causing the back of our palates to droop, and we're not breathing through our noses anymore, which is causing our face shape to totally change and kind of go down. So he's apparently got exercises in the method that just like lifts up your entire face. So I'm down with that.
I am down. I want to know. So
Yeah.
you're taking the reins with that one?
I'm taking the reins and I'm gonna give you the 411.
On you messing with me.
I ain't messing with you.
All right. Well, I love you.
I love you too. Wait,
I'll see you next Tuesday.
where's the heart?
Bye.
Hey, there they are. Oh, mine is like a two pump chump.
Mine's had like mine. I need to call a doctor about.
See you next Tuesday.
Bye. Thanks for joining us this week on We Need Help, the podcast, the duct tape of self-help.
Please visit our website, weneedhelpthepodcast.com, where you can find links to the show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, YouTube, and all the others, so you'll never miss a show.
You'll also find links to the books we've reviewed and our amazing store.
If you enjoy this podcast, go right now, because if you're anything like us, you'll never do it later. Like and share our page and episodes on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, or just tell a friend about the show. That would help us out too.
Also, feel free to let us know what you need help with, and we'll try to cover it in a future episode. You can also find us on Instagram at weneedhelp_the podcast.
Thank you for listening.